The wind screamed across the frozen plains. Ice cracked under every step. Snowflakes, sharp like needles, whipped through the air. The sky was gray. The sun was gone. Only cold remained. Soraya could barely see. She held her child tight against her chest. The little one didn't speak. He was too weak to cry. His small body shook in her arms, and his skin had turned a pale purple. His name was Lair, and he was all she had left. Her feet were numb. Her legs hurt with every step. But she couldn't stop. She looked behind her, nothing. Just endless white and the memory of voices shouting, "Leave her. She's too slow. We can't carry both her and the child." Her own people, her own kind. They had left her behind to die in the storm. The strong went ahead, chasing. Shelter. The weak were forgotten. Tears froze on Soraya's cheeks. She kept walking, step by step, through the endless snow. She didn't know where she was going, only forward. If she stopped, they would both die. Liar made a soft sound. His tiny fingers moved. "Just a little more," she whispered. "Please, stay with me." But her strength was leaving her. The snow got deeper, the wind louder. Her legs gave up. She fell to her knees. She tried to stand again, but her body refused. She lowered Liar into the snow, pulling her own cloak around him. She curled around him like a shield. Her body shook. Her eyes felt heavy. "I'm sorry," she whispered. She closed her eyes, but then a crunch. Footsteps. Heavy ones. Slow and steady. Not alien feet. Not like hers. Boots. A shadow appeared in the snow. Tall, wide shoulders. A figure in dark winter. Gear with glowing blue goggles. A human. He looked down at her, breathing heavily. Soraya couldn't speak. Her lips were frozen. The man knelt beside her. She tried to move away, protect her child, but she had no strength left. He opened his coat and reached inside. For a weapon? No. A thermal blanket. With quick, practiced hands, he wrapped the child in it first. Then he gently lifted Liar into his arms. Soraya's voice was barely a whisper. "Don't take him." The man looked at her. His voice was rough but calm. "I'm not taking him. I'm saving him." Then everything went black. Warmth. I opened her eyes. She was inside something. A small shelter. The walls were soft and glowing. A survival pod? A tent? She turned her head. Her body ached, but she wasn't cold anymore. She was wrapped in layers. Her clothes were dry. Then she saw him, the human. He sat across from her, near a small heat lamp. His coat was off, his face rough and tired. Brown hair, short beard, strong hands. A soldier, maybe. And next to him Liar, sleeping inside a blanket, breathing slowly. His color had returned. "You're awake," the man said. "Good." Soraya stared at him. "Why?" "Help?" He shrugged. Saw the smoke flare. Thought someone needed help. Smoke flare? She remembered now. She had fired her last emergency beacon a few hours before collapsing. No one else came. She whispered. He didn't answer. Instead, he opened a small bag and handed her a warm food packet. "Eat," he said. "You're starving." Soraya took it. Her hands shook. She looked at her child again. Alive, safe. "Who are you?" She asked. "Cole," he said simply. "I'm part of the Human Scout Division." "Why risk it?" Her voice cracked. "We're not your people." Cole looked at her for a long moment. "No one deserves to freeze to death," he said. Then he turned back to the lamp. Outside, the wind howled. Ice still beat against the walls of the shelter, but inside, for the first time in days, there was warmth. And for the first time in Soraya's life, someone had saved her. Not for gain, not for duty, but because it was right. She watched Cole silently, holding her child close, and something deep in her chest, a place long cold, began to feel warm. Asterisk. The sound of fire crackling. The soft breath of a sleeping child. Warmth strange. Unfamiliar warmth touched Saraya's skin like a dream. Her eyes opened slowly. She was no longer buried in snow. No longer dying. She was inside a dome-shaped tent, glowing with a soft orange light. The floor was covered with a heat mat. A smell filled the air, something she had never known before. Cooked food. Real food. She sat up fast, panic shooting through her chest. Liar! Easy, came a calm voice. She turned. Across the tent, the human sat, his arms resting on his knees, watching her. His face was worn, marked by time and weather. He didn't smile, but there was no threat in his eyes. He just nodded toward the corner. Her eyes followed, and her heart jumped. Liar was there, wrapped in a thick human blanket, sleeping peacefully. His cheeks were warm, his breathing soft and steady. Saraya pressed a hand to her mouth. She almost cried again. You were nearly gone, the man said. I had to warm you both fast. You've been out for hours. She stared at him, still confused. Why? She whispered. Why would you save us? The man didn't answer right away. He picked up a metal cup and handed it to her. Hot broth. Drink. She took it. Her fingers trembled. The heat made her hands sting, but she drank. It was salty, strange, but her body accepted it like a gift from the stars. My name's Cole, the man said finally. I'm a scout from Earth, Patrol Route 7. Saraya blinked. Earth? Human world? Cole nodded. She stared into the broth. In her world, humans were called many things: strange, cold, selfish, dangerous. Her people said humans only helped if it benefited them. But this man had found her dying in the snow and saved her child first. You risked your life, she said, for strangers. Cole gave a small laugh. You think I came out here to make friends? He stood and opened a small pack. Inside were tools, energy packs, and dried food. But she noticed something strange. Tucked in a side pocket, a child's drawing, folded and worn. It showed a little human girl with a big red sun. Cole saw her looking. He didn't hide it. My daughter, he said. Back on Earth. I lost her 2 winters ago. Saraya froze. She didn't die, Cole said. But I lost her. War tore our family apart. She's with her mother now, far away. There was silence. Then Cole continued. So when I saw your boy in the snow, I couldn't just walk past. No soldier should lose their child to cold. Saraya looked at him with new eyes. He wasn't a monster. He wasn't a thief. He was broken. Like her, she pulled the blanket tighter around her son. Her voice was soft. Thank you. Cole nodded and sat again near the heater. Outside, the storm screamed louder. Wind slapped the tent, and snow hit like fists. The temperature dropped even more. They were still deep in the danger zone. How long will the storm last? She asked. Another day, Cole said. Maybe more. And then? Cole's face turned serious. Then we move. There's a research post not far, about 40 clicks west. But we'll need to avoid the ice beasts. Saraya's eyes widened. They're still near? Always in storms like this, he said. They follow movement, smell fear. You were lucky I found you before they did. She shivered again. But this time, it wasn't just from cold. Cole opened a drawer in the wall and tossed her a soft cloth. Your hands wrap them. You've got mild frostbite. She obeyed. Quietly. Then something strange happened. Cole took out a small cooking device and lit it. He opened a pack of food and started warming it. What are you doing? She asked. He looked up. Making stew. For both of us? For all of us, he said. You need strength. Tomorrow you'll help carry your boy. Her lips parted in surprise. You trust me to travel with you? He raised an eyebrow. You survived an ice storm carrying a child. That tells me you're Tougher than most soldiers I know. For a second, Soraya forgot the pain, the fear, the shame of being abandoned by her own people. Someone, a human, had looked at her and seen strength. Outside, the wind howled, but inside the tent, two worlds shared warmth. A broken soldier, a cast-out mother, and a child who still breathed. They didn't speak again that night. But something had changed, not just the air. The silence felt less empty. The wind had gone quiet. Too quiet. Cole sat upright inside the tent, listening, his eyes narrowed. The storm had raged for hours, but now it had stopped suddenly, like someone had hit a mute button. Silence on a frozen planet wasn't peace. It was danger. Soraya was still sleeping, her arms around Lyre. The child breathed gently, unaware of the cold world outside. The warmth inside the tent had made her feel safe. Cole knew better. True predators loved silence. He slowly reached under his pack and pulled out a sleek black rifle. The battery light flashed green, charged. "Ready." He whispered. "Stay asleep, kid." He unzipped the tent, just a few inches, and peeked out. Nothing but snow and white mist. But something was off. The snow near their camp was disturbed, large prints. Not from any boot. Not from her kind. These were wide, deep, and three-toed. His pulse quickened. "Damn it," he muttered. "It found us." Soraya woke suddenly. The warmth was still there. But Cole was gone. She sat up fast. "Cole?" No answer. Then she heard it. A deep, wet growl. Not far. She rushed to the tent flap and peeked outside. Her eyes widened. Cole stood with his weapon raised, facing something large and monstrous moving slowly through the fog. Its body was tall, covered in ice-colored fur. Its claws were long, sharp like knives. Its eyes glowed faint blue. It sniffed the air. Soraya's heart pounded. She had seen such beasts before, once, during migration. They followed storms, hunting for heat, for life, for the scent of blood. They were called frost reapers. Cole didn't move. His body was still like a statue. The rifle was aimed steady. "Go back inside," he said quietly, not looking at her. "But," she started. "Now." She crawled back inside and wrapped herself around her son, whispering softly to him. Her hands trembled. Outside, she heard it step closer. The snow crunched. Then a loud roar. Gunfire cracked through the air. Soraya screamed, covering Lyre's ears. The tent shook. Another roar, louder this time. She couldn't just sit. She crawled toward the flap and looked again. Cole was knocked to the ground. The frost reaper had slashed his side. Blood sprayed into the snow, but Cole didn't let go of his rifle. He rolled, took aim, and shot the beast in the chest. It staggered, screeched, but it didn't fall. "Too strong," Soraya whispered. "He's going to die." She looked around. Her eyes locked on something. Cole's backup blaster. It was half buried in the corner of the tent, beside his bag. Without thinking, she grabbed it. She rushed outside, heart racing. The beast was almost on top of him. Cole aimed again, weakly. "Stay back," he shouted when he saw her. Soraya raised the blaster with both hands. It was heavy, cold. She took a deep breath, aimed at the glowing eyes of the beast, and fired. A blast of blue light shot out, direct hit. The frost reaper let out a final roar of pain and crashed into the snow. Dead. Smoke rose from its chest. Everything was still again. Cole groaned and sat up, holding his side. "Well, damn," he breathed. "Nice shot." Soraya dropped the blaster. Her hands were shaking. I didn't mean to kill it." "Yeah," he said, smiling slightly through the pain. "But I'm glad you did." She rushed to him, pulling his coat aside. To see the wound. It was bad. A deep gash across his ribs. Blood soaked his side. "You need help," she said. He nodded weakly. "Medical kit." "Bag." She ran back, grabbed it, and returned. Her fingers worked fast. She applied the sealant and pressed the patch tight. Cole winced but stayed still. "You've done this before," he said. She nodded. "I used to treat injuries before my people left me." "You saved me," he said softly. She looked at him. "You saved us first." For a moment, they just sat there in the snow, surrounded by silence and the giant dead beast beside them. Then Cole laughed, just once. Soraya blinked. "Why are you laughing?" "Because I finally found someone out here who can shoot better than me." She smiled, just a little. It was the first time she had smiled in weeks. Back in the tent, Liar cried out in his sleep. Soraya turned. "I have to go to him." Cole nodded. "Go." As she walked back toward her child, her mind was racing. She was starting to see it now. Not all humans were cruel. And not all warriors wore metal armor. Some bled for strangers, some gave warmth to the forgotten, and some, like Cole, faced death alone in the snow, so others wouldn't have to. The fire crackled softly in the tent, but it wasn't the only fire burning now. Soraya's hands were still shaking, not from cold, but from something new. Something fierce. She had killed a beast. Not by luck, not by accident. She had aimed and protected. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel like the weak one. She felt alive. Across from her, Cole lay on his side, pale but breathing. His wound was sealed with human tech, but the bleeding had taken his strength. He needed rest, but Soraya couldn't sleep. Not now. Outside the tent, the world was quiet. The Frost Reaper's body still lay in the snow. Wind had begun to cover it in white. Soraya stood and stepped out, wrapping Cole's extra coat around her shoulders. The sky had cleared. Above her, stars blinked gently, but her thoughts were not calm. She remembered her tribe, how they shouted at her, blamed her, how they left her behind. They said she would only slow them down, that her child was a burden, that she had no worth. And yet, here she stood. Her child was safe. She had saved a warrior. She had faced death and didn't run. Fire inside her burned hotter than the storm outside. Hours later, Cole woke with a groan. His eyes opened slowly. Soraya sat beside him, feeding small spoonfuls of warm broth to Liar. Cole smiled. "You've been busy." "You needed sleep," she said. He tried to sit up but winced. Soraya reached over and gently pushed him back down. "Don't be stupid." Cole gave a small laugh. "That's fair." She handed him water. He drank slowly. "You've changed," he said suddenly. She looked at him. "What do you mean? Before, you were scared. Now you look like a soldier." Soraya thought for a moment. "No," she said softly. "Not a soldier. Just a mother who's tired of being helpless." Cole nodded. "That's even stronger." By noon, the weather had shifted again. Thick clouds returned, but this time, they were ready. Soraya had packed their things. She wrapped Leo carefully and tied him to her back with cloth. She carried one of Cole's smaller packs on her chest. The rifle now hung across her shoulder. "You can barely walk," she said to Cole, "so I will guide." "You sure about that?" he asked. She gave him a steady look. "You said the outpost is west. I saw your map. I can read it." He blinked. "You read human maps? Languages change. Hunger doesn't." Cole couldn't argue with that. With his arm around her shoulder, they moved out. Step by step through the cold. The world was quiet again, but not peaceful. Each step forward meant risk. Every shape in the mist could be danger. But Soraya was focused, eyes sharp. Her feet found strong ground. She led them through broken valleys and past frozen trees. Cole leaned on her more than he liked. But he stayed quiet. He had never seen someone change this fast. She didn't look like someone left to die anymore. She looked like someone with purpose, someone who refused to lose again. That night, they found shelter inside an old rock arch. The wind didn't reach them there. Soraya built a small fire with fuel from Cole's kit. Layer was asleep, warm and safe. Cole sat beside her, breathing hard. "You should rest," she said. "You too." She shook her head. "I will keep watch tonight." Cole looked at her closely. "You're different." She met his eyes. "Maybe I always was, but no one gave me the chance." He nodded slowly. Soraya turned her gaze to the stars above the arch. Then, softly she spoke. "When I was young, I asked my mother why the stars are cold." Cole listened quietly. She said, "Because they watch but never help." I believed her for many years. Cole tilted his head. "And now?" She looked at him. "Now I think she was wrong. Because someone came out of the cold. Someone who helped. A human." Cole smiled, just a little. "You've got fire now," he said. "No," she answered. "I always had it. I just forgot how to burn." They sat in silence, the wind far away now, but the fire inside Soraya had only just begun. The morning light touched the snow with gold. It should have been beautiful, but Soraya felt a weight in her chest. As she walked beside Cole, helping him down a narrow path between frozen cliffs, memories stirred. Old ones, painful ones. Cole broke the silence first. "You haven't asked where I was going." She looked at him. "You saved my child. I didn't need to ask." He nodded. "Still, you should know." He stopped, breathing heavy, and pulled a small metal device from his coat, a locator beacon. Its screen showed a blinking dot on a map. "I was sent to find something," he said. "Something buried in the ice." Soraya frowned. "What kind of something?" "A power core, old tech, alien, maybe even yours." She stopped walking. Her fingers clenched the strap of her pack. Cole noticed. "You know something, don't you?" She didn't answer right away. Her eyes stared into the ice, but her mind was far away 2 winters ago, in the caves of her homeland, when strangers came with weapons and lies. "We found a glowing box," she said softly. "The elders said it was cursed. It hummed like a living thing. They tried to sell it to traders from the black markets." Cole's eyes narrowed. "Pirates?" She nodded. "I was against it. I said it was dangerous, but no one listened. I was young, already seen as weak. What happened to it?" "They took it, but the deal went wrong. Some of our people died, and the rest. They blamed me, said I cursed them with bad luck." Her voice shook. "That's when I started to be pushed away." Cole stared at her. "You weren't just cast out for being slow. You were punished for speaking truth." She said nothing, but her silence was an answer. They made camp early that day. Cole's wound was opening again. Soraya cleaned and rewrapped it. Her hands were steady now, like a soldier. Like a healer. Cole winced but didn't complain. "You think your tribe still has the core?" he asked. She shook her head. "No, but they're near. I've seen tracks, fresh ones." Cole sat up. "If they're near, and they know what the core is, they'll try to sell it again," she said. "Or worse, use it." "Use it?" he asked. Soraya nodded. "The core isn't just power. It speaks to machines. It can control them. Wake things that should stay sleeping." Cole's face hardened. "Then we need to find it first." She looked at him carefully. "You're hurt. If we go after them now." "I'm still breathing," he said. "That's enough." She smiled just slightly. "You humans are strange." "You haven't met my brother," he joked. But then his tone changed. "We'll need a plan. Do you know where they might go?" Soraya nodded. "There's an old stone ridge near the Crystal Lake. My people used to hide weapons there. That's where we go." She paused. "But what about Liar?" Cole's eyes went to the sleeping child, wrapped in warm layers beside the fire. Soraya's voice broke. "I can't take him into danger, but I also can't leave him alone again." Cole reached into his bag, pulled out a small square object, and placed it on the ground. It unfolded into a protective bubble, an emergency human shield. temperature controlled, with basic food and light. Enough for a few hours. He'll be safe in this, he said. Soraya touched the smooth edge of the shield. You carry all this just to survive alone? Cole looked at her. I never expected to save anyone, but I'm glad I did. She looked up at him. And in that moment, something passed between them, understanding, respect, maybe something more. We'll leave at dawn, she said, and finish what others started. That night, she whispered to her child, forgive me, little one, but Mama has to fight. For you, for the truth. She kissed his forehead, and the soft hum of the shield closed around him. Then she turned to Cole, her eyes like steel. Let's hunt some liars. Asterisk. The sky turned black before the sun even touched the horizon. Thick clouds swallowed the light, and cold mist rolled over the land like creeping fingers. Soraya and Cole crouched behind a fallen ridge, their breaths fogging in the frozen air. Below them lay a hidden valley, silent, cold, and full of shadows, and at the center of it, near the jagged rocks, was a flickering fire. Her people. Her past. I count 6, Cole whispered. His rifle rested against his shoulder, though his side was still bleeding beneath the bandages. Maybe more in the caves. Soraya's jaw tightened. Those are the ones who left me to die. The ones who said my child would only slow them down. Cole glanced at her. You still want to go through with this? She didn't hesitate. I didn't come this far just to watch from the snow. Cole gave a small nod. All right, you lead. I follow. Soraya's hands clenched around her blade. She didn't trust herself with a gun tonight. This wasn't about distance. This was about facing ghosts. They moved down the slope like shadows, avoiding loose rocks and frozen brush. The air was heavy, too quiet. Even the wind was still. Soraya's heart pounded louder than her steps. With every inch closer to the firelight, she saw familiar faces. Faces from her childhood. From shared meals. From nights spent laughing under stars. Now they were thieves. Raiders. One of them, Vale, tall and cruel, held a glowing object in his hand, the power core. Its soft blue light lit his face like a demon's torch. It's ready, he said, his voice echoing off the rocks. We sell it by morning. Get rich. Leave this cursed world behind. Soraya's teeth clenched. Cursed? They had cursor, not the world. Another voice spoke up, softer, younger. A girl. But what if someone comes for it? She asked. They won't, Vale replied. No one's stupid enough to survive out here. And that weakling Soraya? She's dead for sure. Behind the rock, Soraya's fingers curled around the stone in her hand. Cole touched her shoulder. Not yet, he whispered, but Soraya shook her head. No more waiting. She stood and walked straight into the firelight. Gasps, movements, weapons drawn. Soraya? One of them said in shock. How? I didn't die, she said, her voice cold as the night air. You just didn't look back. Vale stepped forward, a long metal blade in his hand. You should have stayed buried in snow. You don't belong here. Cole stepped beside her, rifle raised. She's not alone, he said. The raiders froze. A human? Here. Soraya stepped forward. That core belongs to no one. It's dangerous, you know it, Vale laughed. We know. That's why it sells so well. Even if it kills others? Let it, he sneered. We survive. That's what matters. Soraya's voice dropped. Not anymore. She threw the stone in her hand hard and fast. It hit the camp's alarm system, shattering it. Chaos. Cole fired a warning shot. The sound exploded through the canyon. Soraya rushed forward, fast and fierce. The younger girl tried to stop her, but Soraya moved like fire. She disarmed her in seconds. Cole took position behind a crate, covering her. Vale lunged. Steel clashed with the edge of Soraya's blade. She barely blocked it. You don't have the heart to fight me, he hissed. Soraya's eyes flared. I don't need heart. I have purpose. She kicked him back and slashed forward, cutting deep into his side. Vale fell to his knees, growling in pain. "You were never weak," he spat. Soraya looked down at him. "You were just too blind to see strength." Minutes later, it was over. The others had run or surrendered. Cole picked up the core carefully, wrapping it in a containment cloth. Soraya stood over the dying fire, breathing hard. She had faced them all, not with hate, but with fire born of pain, love, and truth. They didn't stay. With the power core secured and her past finally behind her, Soraya and Cole climbed the slope in silence. Above, the sky began to clear. And far in the distance, a small glowing dome waited. Her sun, her future, her fire. The stars blinked like soft candles above the ice. The night was cold, but Soraya no longer felt it. Not truly. She walked slowly beside Cole, the power core sealed in his pack, his steps weak but steady. The ground behind them held the marks of battle, but ahead only peace, and waiting beneath a glowing dome of soft blue light. Her child. Soraya's eyes welled with tears. She ran the last few steps and dropped to her knees, her hands trembling as she opened the shield. "Liar." His small eyes blinked in the sudden light, and then he smiled, reaching up with both hands. Soraya pulled him into her arms, holding him like the world could vanish if she let go. Cole stopped a few feet behind them and let himself fall into the snow, exhausted. "You made it," he said softly. Soraya looked back at him, eyes burning with emotion. "No," she said. "We made it." Hours passed. The fire crackled again, small and steady. Cole sat with his back against a rock. His side was still sore, but the worst was over. Soraya sat beside him, feeding Liar a warm meal. The boy had fallen asleep after a few bites, his head resting against her chest. For a while, there were no words, just breath, warmth, life. Then Soraya finally broke the silence. "I never thought I'd be anything more than a burden," she said. "That's what they called me, useless, weak, a mother with no worth." Cole didn't speak right away. He looked at her with quiet eyes. "They were wrong," he said. She nodded slowly. "But I believed them." "I did too once," Cole admitted. "After I lost my daughter, I thought I had nothing left. I became a machine, just followed orders." Soraya looked at him. "But you saved us." He gave a tired smile. "Maybe you saved me too." The wind blew gently across the frozen hills. And then, from the north, a blinking light. Cole sat upright. "That's a signal, a human outpost beacon. We're close?" she asked. "Closer than I thought, just over the ridge." Soraya stared at the blinking light. "Home?" "No, but a new beginning." The outpost was small but alive. Metal gates opened when the guard saw Cole, dragging his badge from his coat with a grunt. He turned back to Soraya. "Don't say anything yet. Just walk beside me." Her shoulders tensed. "They'll see me and the child." "They'll see survivors," Cole said. "That's all they need to see." They walked in together. Human soldiers looked there, way confused, curious, but no one stopped them. Cole led her to the medbay, where machines hummed and warmth filled the room. He looked at a young medic. 2 patients, 1 child, 1 mother. "Record them both," the medic blinked. "Wait, she's not," Cole cut him off. "She is now." Soraya's breath caught. Later, when they were alone, she whispered, "Why did you say that?" "Because," Cole said, "you've earned your place, not just here, but anywhere." Her hand found his. Not by accident, not out of fear, but out of choice. Weeks passed. Soraya and Liar were given a small living space. She was trained to use human tech. The base commander noticed her focus, her skill, her calm under pressure. She was offered work navigation, survival aid, even scouting. She accepted. Not because she wanted to fight again, but because she knew what it meant to be lost, and how to help those still wandering in the cold. Cole now recovering fully, watched her from the Cum's room one day and smiled. She doesn't need saving anymore, he said to himself. That night, Soraya sat beside him outside the base wall. Under the stars, do you miss Earth? She asked. He nodded. Sometimes. Do you want to go back? He looked at her. At first, yes. Now? I think I've already found what I was missing. She blushed slightly and looked down at her hands. I used to think stars were cold, she said. Distant. Unfeeling. And now? She met his eyes. Now I know. Some stars walk the snow. And some carry warmth even in the worst storm. Cole didn't answer with words. He just reached out and held her hand. Warm, real, alive, and in the cold world beyond them. A new fire burned.